For joining us. I'm Dee Dee Wills, and I'm here with Rachel from, oh gosh, I had it just in front of me, Engaging Little Learners.
Early learners. You got
Oh,
it
yes.
though. You got
Engaging
it.
Early Learners. Thank you. I just had it in front of me, and then I shut it, and then I thought about five different other things, and I automatically scroll. So, anyhow, thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
Of course.
We are going to have you for about 15 minutes, and then we have somebody else who's going to pop on. But I want everybody to get to know you a little bit better. So, can you tell everybody who you are and obviously do a better job than I did about where they can find you? So, go.
Sure. So my name is Rachel Glassman. I am a second grade teacher right now, and I live in New Jersey. I teach in the town that I grew up in, which is really sweet and cool. I started off as a preschool special education teacher in a self contained classroom. I did that for 3 years, and then I got tired and I switched to second grade co teaching. And this is my fourth year doing that. So I teach in a classroom with a general education teacher as well. We have a full classroom, and up to 8 of those students can have IEPs, but
Okay.
it varies year to year. I've worked at the same school for all this time, and I love it. And you can find me at Engaging Early Learners. I am most active on Instagram. That is my favorite place to hang out. So come hang out.
Oh, nice, nice. I'll go ahead and drop in a link where they can find you on Instagram. Maybe, let's see, technology, as I said. There we go. I just dropped that in there. Hey, you guys, if you are just coming in, make sure that you comment so that you could be entered into the giveaway. So we want to make sure that you comment so that your name goes in that little jar. And then we'll go ahead and pull out a winner. And then we'll go ahead and pull out another winner, and so on and so forth. So tell everybody about what what your session is going to be about during the Educator Summit. Like, what are you going to be talking about?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this because this is something I'm really passionate about. I think it started because I taught preschool. I used to teach my students all about how to be independent. And even though they were 3 and had special needs, they could be independent. And that I was very passionate about that. So I've kind of carried that through even teaching second grade. So my session is all about increasing student independence in the classroom, what you can do as the teacher, what you can have your students do, and I'm basically giving you like my top 6 tips. And then
Okay.
I'm going to be showing picture examples of like my classroom, preschool classrooms, kindergarten classrooms, and then even explaining why all of those things are so important in order to get our students to be independent. So lots of information, some
Uh-huh.
freebies for you guys,
We
lots
love
of
those.
stuff. Yeah, lots of stuff in there.
Well, good, 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 good. Yeah, I think that that student independence thing is it'll make it or break it for you for that year, right? So if you have like students who are just clinging to you, it makes it really hard for you, but also makes it really hard for them to be self-sufficient learners, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, from day 1, we are like setting those routines, those expectations, and honestly, within 2 or 3 weeks, we are good. And we are just smooth sailing for the year. Our students know the expectations. They're able to be independent. It just makes it so that we can get so much more done. We are
Yeah,
not being interrupted all the time. My students are not calling out. There's no disruptions. We are just smooth sailing. And other teachers come into our classroom and say, "Wow, you guys run like a tight ship in here. Like it's really nice. It's nice to watch and see that everyone just knows what to do." And I'm like, "Really?" Like, as if, like, that's so unusual,
right,
and they're like, "It is. It
right.
is unusual because I think teachers maybe don't have all of the tools they need in order to do that." So, I'm happy to be able to share it
Me
with
too.
everybody.
I'm super excited. I think sometimes we can have. I always just get this little. I don't know if you know this expression. Maybe it's because like I grew up with people who went on farms and stuff like henpecked. You know what I mean? Like you can get henpecked to death at school, and
Yeah.
then it just makes it like not enjoyable for you. But then it also, in my opinion, and maybe you can comment on this, but I think it also raises the anxiety of students if you're not able to be right there with them, but they don't have the tools on how to self-regulate or find their own solutions or be empowered to find their own solutions because I feel like you're the answer person. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I talk a lot about that in my session about how can we set up the environment, even like slides on the board, how can we set these things up so that our students don't have that anxiety of not knowing what to do or needing us. They just know what to do because they look up at the slides, they look at a schedule, they look at the visuals on their desk. There's so many different ways for
Yeah,
each different type of student because that's the other thing. Every student is different. So there's
right.
so many different ways that we can do this that it hits every single student. I have students on the autism spectrum, I have students that are general education students, and I have everything in between. I have everything. And what I'm doing is working so far.
Yay! Yay!
So, I'm really excited to share it because I think it can help everyone,
Right,
hopefully.
right. I was just kind of looking at some of the things that you were planning on sharing at the summit. I'm really excited about it, but I also love that it's very visual. And so, because I'm definitely a visual learner, I think a lot of early childhood educators probably are as well. Maybe I'm making a generalization. I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but I also think, for me, that just sticks with me when I can say, okay, now, like, what does that look like in kindergarten? What does that look like in second grade?
Yeah.
Um, and I also could kind of imagine that you have students who maybe transitions can be the challenging thing for them, right?
Yep. So that's where the visuals come into play. And it's funny, you were just talking about being a visual learner. An entire section of my presentation is about visuals because they're so important. So that's why in my presentation, I show you everything. I'm not just talking about it. I have picture
Yes.
examples. But yeah, transitions, we use visuals. We have schedules. Some students actually have their own schedule.
Okay.
They move pictures
Okay.
to know what's coming next, or when they're done with a task, they move a star to a different thing, and I will show you all of this.
Perfect.
So,
That's
but yeah,
perfect.
that is definitely something that some of our students struggle with.
If you are just hopping in here, make sure that you comment. Tell me where you're listening from and tell Rachel where you're listening from. So I see that Diane already did that. Great job, Diane.
Yeah, she's from Philly. Go Phillies tonight.
Billy. So just so that we want to make sure that you get entered into the jar and then for a giveaway, and then also so that we know where you are. So you're in New Jersey and you're at the school where you were taught. Is that true? Or the community?
The district. So our
Okay.
district is huge. We have 7 elementary schools, 11 schools total in the district. So I am at one of the elementary schools in the district. I didn't happen to go to this one, but
Okay.
I do feel very lucky to still work in that town that I,
That is
went
very
to
cool.
myself.
That's very cool. Have you guys had bad weather yet? Have you gotten any like major weather? Or are you still in like fall mode?
So we just switched from fall back to summer today. It was 75, 80 degrees.
We've had every season today because we started off with summer and then we had a little fall, and I think by the weekend we're going to have winter because I think we're getting our first snow over the weekend. I'm in Colorado, so
Oh,
no, like
yeah,
hard pass on that.
too
Um,
soon.
what is a tip that you have that teachers might be able to take back to their classroom tomorrow to help with some independence?
I think it's a mix of using visuals and giving clear directions. So I think going into your classroom tomorrow, if you feel like there is a direction or something your students need to know and you don't want to keep saying it, because often we do keep repeating the same things over and over again, put it up on the board or write it on a piece of paper and stick it up and stop repeating it so much. Start maybe just pointing to it, and then eventually you'll fade back the pointing and it will just become the expectation that that is what you need to do.
Yeah,
Stop repeating yourself.
I know. And sometimes I'm like, like I have it in one of my sessions that I did a long time ago. I was talking about this chart that took me forever to realize I needed to make. And it was
Yes.
almost like I would get like, I'd be so frustrated. Like, how many times, in my head, I'm thinking that, how many times do I have to repeat this? And I'm like, okay, who's the slow learner here? Because anytime you have that thing that you're repeating over and over again, like, how do you solve that problem? Make a chart, make a visual for them so that they have something to.
Yeah. I mean, it's as simple, something that we say a lot in our classroom is ask 3 before me.
Yeah,
So my students constantly are raising their hand asking for help. So I could respond to them and say, remember, ask 3 before me. But then I found myself being like, remember, ask 3 before me. And I was a broken record. So what did I do? And I have this in my free resource library. It's a little stop sign and it just says ask 3 before me. I put it on a little popsicle stick and I would just walk around and I would just show it. And then
Yeah.
eventually I didn't have to walk around and show it. I could just have it up on the board and
Right.
I would just point to it. And then eventually I didn't even have to do that because it became a habit, right? We're
Right.
basically forming little habits within our classroom. So
Right.
you fade that prompting back. And next thing you know, you don't have to even acknowledge ask 3 before me. They just do it.
Right.
So
And sometimes just asking you is the habit, right? So like that's the habit they've had of like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just going to take this over there and say, I don't know what to do.
yeah,
Especially probably your pre-K, probably your younger, or students who really might have some big instructional needs, right? They may
yep.
be a little bit more dependent. But then I also am like, as I say that, I'm also thinking about sometimes my most capable students just did not want to be wrong, and so they wanted to just touch base with me on a continual basis. So
Yeah, or students are craving our attention, right? Maybe they
yeah,
don't get as much attention at home or there's other stuff going on and they're craving our attention. So it's not that we need to let them continue to raise their hand and call out our name. It's how can we show them our attention in other ways? That's something that I try to think about. What other ways can I show them that I love and care for them and I'm giving them attention? But you don't have to be calling out my name every day, 15
right.
times a day. I don't want to hear it.
All
Yeah,
the way, all the way through, right?
I was helping a teacher recently because she said, "I just can't stand it. I feel like my name is called out a million times a day." And I said, "Well, why do you think that's happening? Like, take a step back. Why is it happening? Is it because your students don't know the expectations? Do they need a visual? Do they need clearer directions? Do they
Right.
not know what to do?" Like, there's just so many other layers.
And it
And then
costs.
when you add some of these things like visuals, clearer directions, schedules, all of a sudden your name isn't called so much and it's really nice.
It's really nice. Yeah. And I think sometimes, for teachers, you know, it's sort of like, like if you're ever caught like on a riptide, what people tend to do is they just swim harder
Yep.
instead of just relax, let that kind of take you out, and then you can swim up or swim down and then come in, right? So instead of, and I think teachers tend to just swim harder instead of just, let me just take a step backwards and see what is happening
Oh,
here
yeah.
and
I
how I
feel like
can,
a huge part of teaching is reflecting, but no one
right,
has time for that because
now,
there's no time.
right,
But with something like this, it is so important because we don't want our students to be so dependent on us and
right,
their teacher.
right. I think that's an awesome tip. So if you're listening and you haven't commented yet, make sure that you do put your name in the winner jar because we're going to pick a winner for a ticket to the Educator Summit. And Rachel, I am so glad that I got to meet you face to face for in real time. And we're going to go ahead. If you want to hang out with us, we're going to have Amany hop in here. Amany, are you ready? Okay, let me see if I can do this without messing anybody up. There she is. Hello,
Hello,
hello.
friends.
You look like totally official with your mic there.
That's my husband's setup. He's a gamer. So I was like, I'm going to borrow this for Dee Dee's
Oh my
live.
gosh, I love that. I love that. And it's kind of like, I mean, my mic is here. You can't see
This
it.
is very sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right over here. You can't see it. I'm gonna drop it, but it's not that fancy. So very nice.
Rachel, I need to tell you, when you said that your district was huge, my district has 50 schools.
Oh, no. Where are you?
I'm in Southwest Florida.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I got you on that one. My district is huge.
Yeah, that is huge. All of your districts are huge compared to the last school district I taught in because it was 2 elementary schools in the district. So that was really big. I did teach in San Diego City schools, and that's huge, but not. I don't. Well, I don't know. Maybe if they're with what Amany has, maybe. I don't know. Pretty big. Rachel, I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna put you in that waiting room because you're probably like, I don't want to sit here. So I'm gonna hide you. If you're
Thank
welcome to hop
you.
back in, or if you have other things, I'm sure you have other things you need to do. It's getting late there, but thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Okay, bye.
See you.
See you.
Hello,
So,
friend.
girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I miss your face.
I know I miss your face. I haven't seen you in forever.
Forever.
Well, I saw you in March, but that was it. So
Feels
tell
such a long
everybody,
time ago.
you already said a little bit about you. So tell everybody about you and where you are.
My name is Amany Gindi. I live in Southwest Florida. I am also a Jersey girl. I was born and raised in New Brunswick, and then my dad moved us down here because he got sick of the snow. I teach kindergarten. It's the only grade level I've ever taught. This is my 8th year, and my session is going to be about SEL and picture books.
In picture books. I love that. You have such a huge collection of picture books. That's always been kind of
I do.
You're a little bit of a hoarder, right? It's okay.
A little bit. I downloaded this fun app called Book Buddy. If people are not familiar with it, it's like a $5 one-time charge, and you can scan the ISBN code, and then it saves all of the books. I've like surpassed 1,500. I'm a collector.
Can you find them? I can never find mine. I'm like, I know I bought the same book more than one time because I know I have it, but I can't find it.
Not that I'm sponsored by this app, but I like that you can sort it by any specific category that you want. So you can do AR level if you want, or you can do categories by like animals or picture, like characters and setting, whatever you want. So the way that you organize them into a bin or on a shelf is the way that you can find them in the app too.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That is a great, you like came right out of the gate and gave the tip, didn't you? Book Buddy is what you call. Book Buddy is what you call it?
Book Buddy, yep.
Now on that app, is there a way for you to go in and add like other things that you like, things that you're like, okay, it says this about the book, but I also use it for this. So you can add your own notes to it.
Yes. They also have this part that has like specific windows. Like for example, if you want to sort them by illustrator, you can. If you want to sort them by author, you can. And then there's a part that says notes. So you can also sort it by notes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I thought it was a good investment. I mean, considering the amount of books I have. Yeah. But yeah, most of my sessions are all about picture books. So I was like, I need to keep these organized somehow.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, when you have that many, you definitely need to get, that's a great one. So Book Buddies, I'm going to go look for that real quick, and then I'll drop the link in. Maybe. So tell everybody kind of why SEL and picture books, why we look for this.
Over the years, I have noticed that there are a lot of students who are having a hard time regulating their emotions. And by the time that we get them in kindergarten, they are double the struggle because a lot of them don't know how to school. A lot of them haven't gone to pre-K. A lot of them have not gone even to daycare. And a lot of parents are also worried about putting their kids in school because they just see things that happens on the internet. And then they get worried about sending their kids to school. So oftentimes we are their first teachers ever. So we ask them to walk in line and to sit down in their seat. And then they get a bunch of big emotions and they don't know what to do about the big emotions. I have worked at a previous school where we had a specific SEL block, and then we also had a curriculum. It was an effective curriculum, but then I moved to another school where we didn't have an SEL block and we didn't have a curriculum. And I quickly started realizing that there's a lot of students who don't know what to do with big feelings. So I started using picture books as a way to have preventative measures. Before you start hitting a friend, what is something that you can do instead? So like there's a very simple book called What to Do When You Feel Like Hitting. But if nobody has sat down and had these conversations with them, they don't know how to deal with the big feelings in the moment. So yes, we also can learn de-escalating strategies, but I believe in preventative measures, and I believe in using picture books as a tool to do that.
Do you have a book that is what to do when you want to eat a whole package of Oreos? Do you have one of those? Because I need to read that book.
We can write that one together.
Okay, let's do it together.
We can co-author that book because I have a tub of Oreos, and when I think I don't have enough Oreos, I buy some more Oreos.
There you go. Go for it. I think for a lot of people, they grow up and they don't always know what emotion that they're feeling. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it all of those at the same time, right? And so when we can start to have those conversations with students of like, what is this feeling that you're having? And then of course, bringing in a book is a great way to do that. I mean, that is one of the things that I wouldn't have to go on if I had that, right?
Yes, that is one of the things that I talk about in my session too. I had this one student last year that was transferred to me from another class. He was hitting, kicking, biting, throwing things at his teacher, and he was just having a really hard time. I quickly realized that the emotion that is making him get to that point is he's hungry. And he didn't know how to say, I'm hungry. So he was chucking a pencil, throwing a water bottle. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe let's try getting a snack and working at the same time. And
Right.
everybody's like, oh my God, what did you do? And I'm like, I used a picture book with him. And then he told me that he was hungry.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just a simple conversation and just using a picture book. And
Right.
we figured
Right.
it out and solved it together.
Yeah, I think everybody could kind of benefit from that. Do you feel do you feel like as a result of looking at those picture books, do you feel you're a little bit more in touch, or you probably always in touch with what emotion you're feeling, but I'm wondering, do you ever feel like, oh, wait a minute, I'm kind of learning or reinforcing things I knew as a result of these things? Yeah.
Yes, there is this one book called Stop and Smell the Cookies. And it talks about this boy who's going to school and he calls out when it's not his turn. And when he goes to his friend's birthday parties, he blows out her candles and he doesn't mean to. So his mom is the one who starts giving him coping skills on like how to stop, take a deep breath, act like you're smelling cookies. When you're blowing it out, act like you're blowing candles. So it's one of those that helps him realize that in that moment, you didn't need to upset your friend, but here's how you can realize that this is the emotion that led you to this action.
Yeah.
So that's another book that I also like to use.
I love that. Yeah. I love that, blowing and breathing in like you're smelling cookies and blowing out like you're blowing out a candle.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. I think, for a lot of teachers out there, there's so much pressure on the profession, and then so much pressure that we put upon ourselves,
Yes.
that it's really, anxiety is something that can really be seen from students, but also educators. There's a lot of
For
pressure.
sure.
And so to have even, tapping into that coping skill as an adult is very helpful. And then
Mm-hmm.
also going to get Oreos. I mean, I feel like all of those are a good idea, but breathing in and breathing out in a controlled way. I love that suggestion. Thank you for that. What else do we need to know about you other than you're
Yes, you need to know about me.
beautiful with your makeup tutorial?
Oh, this is 6:00 in the morning makeup. I've been in this all day from school.
Well, you look
Oh,
lovely.
yes.
You look lovely.
Thank you, friend.
Okay, so let's go ahead and grab somebody out of the jar. We didn't have as many comments this time, but that's okay. It's me. No, it's not. It's Carrie Brown. Carrie Brown already has a ticket. Diane.
Diane.
Carrie Brown is also a presenter, so she's amazing. So we'll go ahead and put, I'm going to make Rachel's still hanging out, so I'm putting her back in here. And so Diane, you're going to go ahead and message our hostess with the mostest. Her name is Kayla, and she is going to get you set up. I'm putting her email in here. I have to always think about this. theeducatorsummit.com. There we go. So go ahead. I just put that in there. So grab her email and send her an email. If you already have a ticket, then that means that you'll get a ticket that you can gift to a friend, or you can have a summer ticket. So you'll be way ahead of the game. We already are thinking ahead for summer. Pretty excited. Hopefully you all are as well. And I wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Have a great night. And then Rachel and Amany, if you don't mind hanging out for just a minute, I just wanted to say thanks for being here. Okay. Yay. Thanks, Jill. Thanks everybody for being here.